At exactly 5 a.m. on September 6, 2025, a formation of 10 Ukrainian drones closed in on Europe's largest nuclear facility. Just 57 seconds separated them from impact. The site was considered untouchable, so heavily guarded, so strategically sensitive, that the Russian forces stationed there had begun to relax, convinced no one would dare challenge it. They were about to be proven disastrously wrong. These weren't cruise missiles. This was a swarm of KHS-7 drones, each no heavier than a bag of sugar and costing only $400 apiece. On the operator's monitor, the target was already in sight, the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant's training and simulation center. Distance to the active reactor core? 984 feet. But let's be clear, Ukraine wasn't trying to trigger a nuclear meltdown. The goal was far more calculated. The target, a $50 million simulator hub, trained Russian engineers to manage the reactors and avoid another Chernobyl. Destroying it wouldn't cause radiation. It would cripple Russia's ability to operate their most critical energy asset. In a hidden command post miles away, a Ukrainian technician guided the drones using a battered laptop. His signal, a 5.8 gigahertz frequency hopping broadcast, leapt across the spectrum 1,000 times per second, ghosting past Russian jammers. On paper, the plant was untouchable. S-400 air defenses, Krasuka 4 electronic warfare, Orlan 10 surveillance drones. A fortress. But this wasn't brute force, it was finesse. The plan began not in the air, but beneath the waters of the Dnipro River. At 4:30 a.m., under heavy fog, a Marichka autonomous underwater vehicle slipped quietly into the current. For 30 minutes it was invisible, moving like a predator through the murky depths. At 4:55 a.m., the deception began. Two modified Neptune missiles launched, not at the plant, but at a nearby BM-30 Smerch rocket system, a weapon capable of blanketing the sky with shrapnel. By removing that threat first, Ukraine cleared the path. Meanwhile, deep inside occupied Enerhodar, a 5-man special operations team made its move. Living undercover for weeks, they had one job: disable the crude anti-drone nets around the facility. With a handheld jammer, they cut a silent gap, unlocking the gate for what came next. At 5 a.m., the Marichka surfaced. Its hatch opened, and 10 drones lifted into the sky. 8 dropped low, skimming just above the tree line, while 2 climbed high with dummy warheads. Deliberate sacrifices meant to draw fire. The trap worked. The S-400 radar operators locked onto the 2 decoys. The system, built to down bombers and fighters, was clumsy against objects smaller than birds. The first layer of defense was distracted. The real strength of the KHS-7 wasn't its frame. It was its brain, a cheap NVIDIA Jetson Nano AI chip. With it, the drone could hop frequencies faster than the Krasuka 4's jammers and navigate optically using terrain recognition. GPS was irrelevant, and its carbon fiber body gave it the radar signature of a sparrow, small enough to vanish inside the system's filters. At 5:02 a.m., 2 Russian missiles tore through the sky and obliterated the decoys. The radar screens flashed, "Target destroyed." The operators celebrated, unaware the real killers were already slipping past. Inside the perimeter, panic set in. The Russians couldn't fire recklessly. One wrong shot near the reactors risked catastrophe. Their Pantsir turrets and a circling Mi-28 gunship fought to intercept the swarm. 4 drones were destroyed, then a 5th, a 6th, but one survived. Flying erratically, darting between dead zones, it evaded every shot. The operator's view narrowed on a small ventilation duct on the 3rd floor of the training center. No larger than a pizza box. At full speed, the drone threaded the needle and vanished inside. On Russian radars, the target simply disappeared. Moments later, the feed cut to static. Then, a soft thud, a wisp of smoke, and silence. The 3.3-pound shaped charge didn't explode like a bomb. It acted like a precision scalpel. A jet of molten copper cut through reinforced concrete, incinerated the server racks, and severed the power conduits. In an instant, the $50 million simulator center was gone. Russian media said nothing, but the impact was clear. For the next 18 months, Russia would be unable to certify or train operators for its 6 reactors. They still controlled the plant physically, but operationally, Ukraine had just seized the future. And here's the question. Would you have taken this shot, risking a nuclear standoff to cripple your enemy's capability? For just the price of a used car, Ukraine delivered a strategic masterstroke, proof that in modern war, victory doesn't always belong to the side with the billion-dollar arsenal, but to those with sharper ideas, cheaper tools, and the courage to pull the trigger.